All right, welcome to the next level. Got my man Dean Pavlic with us today. 7 years later.
7 years later, here we are. Yes,
We're
sir.
here,
I love it.
But I appreciate you coming up, dude. I really do. We're going to talk about something that is very important today.
Okay.
So, Dean, you have the year to date right now. You're just over $3 million in annuity sales.
Correct.
Personally.
Correct.
Right. You're well above the Annuity Hall of Fame. This is your second time in the Annuity Hall of Fame. Yes. You're a 3-time Life Hall of Fame producer, and you're on track just under 2 right now. So that should not be an issue for you. So you'll be on stage twice.
Yep.
But I want to talk about the annuity sales because I feel like that's a myth in this business. People think that first of all, they think they're complicated. They think, well, if I'm selling this, I can't sell annuities. Or I've heard that, well, where do you get the annuity leads from? You don't. You just get them from other. But and my answer, and you can tell me if I'm wrong about this. I think what prevents a lot of people from selling annuities is not using the financial inventory properly.
Correct.
Or not using it at all.
Or not using it at all. That's right.
Because you can sell a life insurance policy with or without it.
Exactly.
You could argue as to why it's so much better to do it with. I'm with you, but we didn't even know about a financial inventory sheet. We sold for years before we even were introduced to one. Right. So that can be done. I've seen people sell annuities without them, but using the financial inventory definitely increases your chances.
Correct.
Right. So talk to me about when you started using it, and then let's get into why it's important and how you uncover the annuities using it the right way.
Yeah, I mean, the financial worksheet is something that's been a foundation of mine since day one.
Okay.
I mean, that was the first thing that was taught, the very first thing. Fill out the financial worksheet, ask all the questions on it, and then we can find a solution to their financial problem. It's a foundation created for you to uncover the root of their problem, why they need the policy for life insurance in the first place. Whether it's a mortgage protection lead, final expense, veteran final expense, IUL, whatever the case is, we discover a lot of annuity opportunities based from those leads. They're not your special, lead that you can purchase.
Right.
You can. There's some marketing companies out there that will specifically target for that. But the problem with it is, number one, they're way too expensive.
Right.
Number two, it's not designed for everybody because they're targeting a specific group of individuals in a certain income bracket, and not everybody can qualify through that either. So when you have a worksheet, Mike, that, first thing first you want to ask is, their age, their date of birth, their income, what kind of income they're generating, their health conditions, medications, and then there's a section that says, what do you have as a form of investment? 401k, mutual fund, TSP, trust, whatever.
Yeah.
And we ask a simple question. You can ask one of two things. You can say, hey, Mike, what do you have that acts like a form of life insurance that would pay out to your family in the event of your death?
Yeah.
Or you can also ask, you can use the same thing, say, hey, Mike, what other financial assets do you have that your family would inherit on your behalf if you were to die tomorrow? One of the two ways. I like the second because it's a little bit more professional sounding. That you can use as a leverage. And they'll say, well, I have a 401k. Perfect. What is your 401k worth in today's value that would help pay out your family? It's worth $200,000. Great. Well, if they're 45, I can't touch it.
Right.
They have to be 59 and a half. See, the thing with investments, they're not complicating. They're very easy to understand, but you have to know the basic ground rules. If they're currently active in a 401k and they're under 59 and a half, they can't allocate it. If they're working, but it's from an old employment that's sitting there, yes, you can. Right. They need a new home for it. If it's a TSP, which is called a thrift savings plan through the government, whether it's a military or government corporation, post office, anything like that, those employees have a TSP. You can't touch them unless they're either 59 and a half or they're parted ways from that work entity they're no longer part of. That's the only two ways you can move those. They're very, very strict, and they're complicated sometimes.
What's the most common situation where you find them? Is it old 401ks from past
Typically
employment?
Old 401ks or some kind of mutual fund investment through another company. Yeah, they have their own through a brokerage firm or some kind of other variable annuity.
Right.
There's a lot of variable annuities out there, Mike, that people miss on. And just because it's a keyword annuity, you have to find out what kind of annuity it is.
Correct.
There's 3 types. Variable, There's also a variable indexed, actually for a regular fixed and a fixed index, what we offer.
Yep.
So you have to be really cautious of what kind of annuity they have and make sure that they had it for a certain amount of time. Like if you got an annuity tomorrow, Mike, with company B, and I want to help you move it over, I can't touch it for at least 2 years.
Right.
There's certain suitability guidelines.
Yep.
But by simply asking those questions is how you will discover more annuity opportunities, which helps the client in a long-term basis to protecting those funds from losses and fees.
Sure. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not that you're going to ask these questions and you're going to find an annuity every time.
Right.
There's going to be plenty of situations where, hey, I don't have anything, or
Right.
my only 401k I have is where I'm working right now, and I'm 42 years old, can't touch it. Cool. Or, yeah, I just moved it into a variable annuity a year ago. Okay, well, we can't because the rules, and even if you were to surrender, it's a whole deal. So you're going to know that, you know, maybe 75% of the time, you're not going to find anything.
Yeah.
But that 25%, you're going to find some stuff.
You'd be surprised.
And you will miss out on that if you don't ask the question.
You know, I had an appointment probably, I would say, 4 months ago. And it was a mortgage lead that had come in. And I went to the house, and the lady already had an existing policy from an FFL agent.
Okay.
2-3 years ago.
Yep.
Couldn't help her because of medical reasons.
Wait, you didn't replace it?
I didn't replace it.
Kidding.
I don't do that. Because the agent was actually a good agent. He did the right thing for the client's need based on health and conditions and so forth. But he missed the annuity opportunities. So I was able to transfer 2 annuities, husband and wife's, from a company that were in a very volatile market situation, moved those over. She had a third annuity, which was a indexed variable annuity with another company. I just finalized that one last week.
Yeah.
The unfortunate side, her husband just passed.
Wow.
He passed. He was deteriorating pretty badly. He was in good shape when I met with him, but he developed really severe dementia, unfortunately. He passed unexpectedly. I'm meeting with her this week to file a claim on that annuity, but she wants to move his annuity that she's going to inherit as a death benefit to another annuity of hers as well.
Wow.
So she can prolong the money. Overall, $650,000 combined.
Wow.
That an agent missed from 2 years ago.
One of our good agent
wrote
a nice policy.
a really nice policy.
Didn't ask the question, obviously.
Didn't ask the question. Maybe he did. Maybe there wasn't anything along that at that time.
Yep.
I don't know. But the opportunity by asking questions like that is something that you're missing out on. I was like, oh, well, they have a policy. Good company, Prosperity Life Group, great carrier.
Yep.
She was approved because of medical reasons for the carrier. I was like, I can't touch it really. But what else do you have? She goes, well, I have this. She pulled all these statements out. I was like, wow, you have a lot of stuff going on. And it's not the first time I ran into a situation like that.
Right.
Like, you'd be surprised how many times I've went to other meetings, former agents of ours who've met with them before, missed the opportunity by not asking the golden ticket question. So these things are very crucial because, in my opinion, Mike, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you're not a full servicing agent if you don't ask all the questions.
No, I agree 100%.
You're not full servicing. No. What are we doing? We're here to protect people financially.
Correct.
But if we're not protecting financially on their retirement, we're not going to do a great job on the life insurance side either.
Absolutely.
Because it all ties in together.
Yeah. And dude, there's so many positives to asking that question, uncovering the annuity, and helping them. Number one, it's going to help your quality of business.
100%.
Dude, if you meet me and I sell you one policy and then I hit the road, what are the odds that someone like you can come in behind me and go, dude, what about this and that? And now you've helped them with 3 other annuities.
Correct.
Who are they going to call when they want another policy? They're not going to call me. They're going to call you.
Me.
100%.
100%.
Quality of business. Also, it goes back to, if you haven't seen the True Talk that we did with Dean, check that out. But it goes back to what we talked about there, where it's actually, and I put it bluntly, giving a shit about your client.
Yeah, you have to.
Because you're right. We're helping them financially. Like, you're going to be passionate about the life insurance. Absolutely. Everyone's going to die. We want to make sure when that happens. But also, there's a lot of people that aren't going to die for a long time.
Correct.
And then they're going to get into retirement. And there's a lot of people that don't have enough to retire on.
Yeah.
And there's products where there's lifetime incomes, there's bonus, all kinds of stuff where 100%. You can take a nest egg of this and stretch it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing that again.
I know, right?
Yeah, you can stretch it. But why wouldn't you?
Well, here's another thing to this story about my client here. When her husband just passed, she lost his pension.
Yeah.
And there was no survivorship benefit. And his Social Security is going to outlive hers.
Yeah.
And she won't be able to collect his for another 2 more months.
Wow.
If I didn't do these things, she would have been in a lot different financial position, being stuck for a few more months, because she has free withdrawal limits on her current existing FIAs I created. Mm-hmm. She's going to inherit his, but she said, I don't want to touch it because, number one, it's a huge penalty to take it all out.
Yeah.
So we're just going to transfer it. If you don't structure things financially for these people and explain the repercussions on the back end, probate's a real thing.
Right.
I think we're not teaching it well enough, in
No.
my opinion. We have to understand how life insurance works around probate, how retirement investments work around probate, how mortgages transfer in probate. A lot of people do mortgage protection, like I myself. If you're the only one in the mortgage, but the wife's not, guess what's going to happen? She can't keep the house.
Right.
It's going to be a frozen asset in probate standpoint until she can either pay the house off or go use the life insurance, if it's a small amount, to protect the equity, to figure things out what to do. If you're married and you both are on the loan, great, she's fine. But how is she going to sustain that loan?
Correct.
Without proper income? So FIAs can provide income, people, on a survivorship benefit. FIAs can provide a long-term, lifetime income if you make it long enough.
Yep.
It can actually be bigger than your Social Security check at one point in time if you use them the right way. The most important thing is you don't lose money when the market tanks. You don't pay management fees. Heck, some people are like, well, how much is it going to cost me to pay you? I'm like, zero.
Nothing.
And I'm still going to service you because you're my client for life.
Right.
And it's amazing how much we're missing on this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's only 4 or 5 of us in the entire company that are top annuity producers.
Right.
Why not more?
And I bet you guys sell over half of the annuities sold in a year. Like we were talking about numbers before, and I'll be sure we've sold less annuities this year than we had last year at this point.
I know.
It's crazy.
Which is nuts.
And you're having a record year.
I'm having a record year for myself.
Yep.
So is Brad Allen. So is David Allen. Yep. So is Allison DePasquard. We are all up in
David's
the top.
at what, like $4 million for the year?
He's about to cross $4 million.
Yeah.
He just signed up a huge deal not long ago for another client. He's crossing that over. Brad's up there in the over 3 million mark threshold. Allison's well over 2. There's a couple 2 more people I think they're over 2 million who are Hall of Fame producers on the annuity side. It's really not difficult. It sounds complicated,
right?
But if you don't know the answer, and then find it. And here's how you find it: SRS team,
right?
So Frank Euphemia, myself, David Allen, and Brad Allen, and John Gavin, 5 of us, are the only 5 that can help you properly if you ask a specialist through your portal or the SRS website.
So you don't need to know anything.
Nothing.
You just have to ask the questions.
You just have to ask the question and uncover the money.
I haven't been in the field in years. I could go out today, ask the question, call you, and go, hey, bro, what do we do?
Exactly. And you can choose one of 3 options to use us as our services. 1, I can be part of the appointment with you, whether it's in person if you're local or whether it's on the phone or Zoom, and we split the deal 50-50.
Okay.
It's fair enough because I got to take some time to invest to teach you how to do it. You still make 50%, I make 50%.
Yep.
2, you can give up the lead. You get 10% for it, and I'll keep the remaining 90. Or B, you can try to do it on your own, and I'll charge you 10% for helping you along the way by filling out the blank spots on the application.
Yep.
And you can learn it on your own. When I first started, Mike, I didn't know anything about annuities, but I got my first deal in my first 2 months into business. I had no idea. I just called my mentor. I was like, hey, can you help me with this? Great, 50-50. He came to the appointment. We split 50-50. Great sale. We both made a nice deposit, but the most important part is we prevented the bleeding for the client, which is phenomenal. And I'm like, this is easy. Right. So I mean, if I ask the question and I call my mentor until I learn this, I'm good. And that's what I did.
Right.
I sold $1 million in annuities my first year. $1 million bucks.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I did, but I leveraged the resources.
Right.
A lot of people are not doing it nowadays. I'm questioning why.
Yeah.
It's there.
Right.
We're not experts. We just learned the structure of it.
Yep.
If you need an illustration, we can help you with that. Heck, you can call the insurance companies and they'll help you. Athene will help you. F&G will help you. Nassau will help you. They will all help you with an illustration if you call them right away.
Yep.
And they can help you explain it too. But you can leverage all of us here. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. But it starts with you using the financial inventory properly, asking the questions. And this is what I think happens, Dean. I think the agent has the financial inventory. They use it. They don't ask all the questions. Maybe they kind of dance around that question, and they get told. It's like it's kind of like asking for the social. Right. If I go, hey Dean, oh God,
start sweating.
So it's not me. The insurance company they need your social, Dean. So do you mind giving that to me?
Right.
So you're gonna be nervous as hell, right?
Of course.
And I'm exaggerating a little, but that's probably how we're asking this. So do you have anything to ask like life insurance? No, I don't have any life insurance. Right. Okay, cool. And they move on, right? Or they ask it and then they don't find anything one or two times and then they give up.
Exactly.
Dude, you got to ask it every single time. It may not be to your damn 12th appointment.
Doesn't matter.
Who cares?
Doesn't matter. Maybe you have 20 grand in cash. They will take that.
There you go.
People don't want the money sitting in a bank account that's making 0 interest.
Right.
Why not take advantage of it, especially if you're not touching it? The best part about this is when you ask all the right questions, Mike, in the proper order, you're never going to miss a beat.
Correct.
You're always going to be in tip-top shape, making sure that you're doing your part. And that's how you uncover a lot of things. And you have to do it in the right way, whether it's in person or over the phone or on Zoom. You need to let them know what your process looks like. Mm-hmm. Hey, Mike, before I begin, I just want to let you know what my process is going to look like and then what the insurance company's process is going to look like, okay? I'm going to spend 2 to 3 minutes asking you about your income because I need to evaluate the losses that are at stake if you don't make it tomorrow, okay? The second thing that we're going to look at is your health and medical history, current and past. It's very important for me to understand what direction I can go with you and which one of my insurance partners is potentially going to make an offer. I don't know yet, but I have to dig into that a little bit in detail. So if you have a medication list, have it ready. If you know it, we'll go over it in a few minutes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look for a solution based on the first 2 answers to see what's affordable and what will potentially qualify you. At the end of the day, the insurance company will have to say yes or no. But here's what they're going to look for, Mike. One, they're going to ask for your social because they're going to pull your medical record in detail. That means it's between you and them. It's HIPAA protected. Nobody else can see it, not even myself, to see what's on your medical history to make sure they can accept the risk. The second thing they're going to ask is your driver's license. They want to make sure you're not reckless, you don't have any DUIs out there, you're not a wanted felon or anything like that. And then the third is how they're going to want to get paid if you get approved for the coverage and we find a proper suitable date and policy for you. Do you have any questions about my process, Mike? If you say no, perfect. You just eliminated 90% of your objections.
Right.
If they say yes, great. What's your concern? Address the concern.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do that. And then they get to it and they fumble like, well, I need your social. I'm not comfortable giving that to you because you didn't set the expectation. You didn't tell them what the process looks like on your end and on the insurance company's end.
And the key is to do that every
time.
I don't care if you walk in and I go, Dean, I really need to get some life insurance.
Yeah.
Don't then just jump to, hey, I really need to buy something, Dean. Just tell me how much it is.
Exactly.
Because you know what that guy does? He needs to think about it.
He needs to think about
Go through the same thing. Like you're a bodybuilder, right? Yeah. Coach, trained people in the past?
Never coached people, but I worked a lot.
You've been coached, right?
Yeah.
You've done shows?
Definitely.
Now, you get a plan, right? You're going to work out this many times. Here's your workout. Here's how much protein you're going to consume. Here's when you're going to eat. Now, if you choose to not do one of those things, right? Like, dude, I hear you. I'm going to do the workout. I'm going to do all that. But the food thing, man, I really just, like, I really want to go to McDonald's a couple times a week. Right. Then you check in with your trainer and go, dude, you're not where you need to be.
Exactly.
Why are you not there? Because you skipped out on one part of it. Right? You still have good results, still look better than most people, but you're not where you want to be for the show.
Because you fell off the plan.
Right.
Same here.
It's the same thing here. Well, dude, you can help families without using the financial inventory. Sure. You may even accidentally uncover some annuities. You're not going to uncover $3 million worth by not.
I've done deals without using a sheet.
Sure.
I've helped with what they needed, still have the policy to today. But then when I leave the appointment, I'm like, I could have done better.
Yeah.
Because if you don't become a perfectionist in your own mind with what you do, then you're never going to care about people.
Correct.
Sorry, I had to say it, but you're never going to be genuinely caring about others if you don't perfect the steps that you need to do to make sure that they're helped in the proper way.
Dude, the appointment's not the time to be creative.
No.
Do the same shit
all
every
the time.
Single time.
Every time.
The times where I've got messed up is where I veered because we used to say, like, there's laydowns, right? You walk in, it's like, they have the voided check taped to their forehead.
Yep.
Anyone can I could send my daughter who's 12, knows nothing about but I still should have went through my entire process because who knows? I may uncover the fact that maybe your wife needs a policy too. Maybe you have some annuity money. Maybe maybe there's potential for an IUL. Maybe there's potential for more than one product. But do the same thing every
It
single
tells
time,
you
every step.
The sheet tells you everything you need to know. There's a couple of them out there. I use one specific. In the middle, it's got all the health conditions you can check and circle. At the top, it has both people's names, date of birth, and their income. The third section is about other life insurance and annuities, and then the fourth section is for your beneficiaries.
Yeah,
that's it. And it's like, it's not hard.
No.
You write everything down. You're never going to skip a beat. So when you go in the application, you already have it there. You just follow everything.
Right.
And people waste so much time also, in my opinion, in the very beginning. They talk a lot about rapport. They start talking, oh, yeah, what do you do for a living? Oh, yeah, how's this going for you? I don't ask any of that. I used to in the very beginning because I'm like, oh, I got to make a good impression. I stopped because it took away focus on what I needed to do.
Right.
I dive right into, hey, so tell me a little bit about your mortgage. Have you ever had mortgage protection before? Has anybody else contacted you before, in person, over the phone? And how long have you had your loan? These are the key things that I ask to all my clients because it's part of my steps.
Do the rapport you could build throughout the appointment.
Dude, I build as soon as I'm in the application. Oh, how long you guys been here?
Dude, yeah, I mean, the application takes some time, right? You're doing a check, sometimes the internet, whatever.
Exactly.
That's the time to do that. It doesn't need to be, here's my report time, here's the time where I'm selling them, here's the time where I'm close. Just
dive into it.
Dive into it. Do every single thing the same way every time.
And that's how you get comfortable.
Don't skip steps.
No doubt.
You know? Well, I appreciate you doing this. This is awesome.
Yeah,
and guys, if you're not using the SRS team,
huge.
Oh my God, like there's no excuse.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw in a punchline here. Every Thursday we have a call at noon.
Yep.
It's the SRS Liftoff, srsliftoff.com. We rotate every Thursday. So one Thursday we have IUL topics, second is annuities, and then the third is Q&A, and then we go back in the same order all over again.
So every third week, you have any questions?
Any questions? It's wide open. There's always a top IUL annuity producer. Zach Tradowski's on it on the IUL side.
Yep.
Frank Euphemia's there with us on the annuity side. Phenomenal training and structure. You can ask anything. And then when we do talk about either IULs or annuities, we always have some kind of top producing agent as a guest there to tell them about what they're doing, what people are doing in the field on the phone in regards to closing those deals out.
That's the thing, dude. The resources are there. You just got to tap into them.
Well, we had these resources since day one, and it just got better over time. That's all.
Correct. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming out. I really do. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for kicking ass and really leading the way, leading the charge with these annuities. I look forward to seeing you on stage again at the next convention. So, guys, get registered for convention, fflconvention.com. Use Ask a Specialist, use the financial inventory, and you know where to find us every week right here on The Next Level. We'll see you next week.